Hi everyone and welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to continue learning how to describe people's appearance, but we'll also learn how to make comparisons. We will first listen to the model dialogue and afterwards we will take a look at the expressions in detail. What does Daniel look like? Daniel is taller than John. Really? Yes, and he looks more mature than before. Okay, so the question on asking about someone's appearance is still the same. So let's take a look at the first sentence that describes Daniel's appearance. Daniel is taller than John. Daniel is taller than John. In this sentence, the comparison is made between Daniel and John. And of the two, Daniel is more tall. So to make this comparison, we need to change the adjective tall into a comparative form. To do that, if the adjective has one syllable, we simply add er to the adjective to make a comparative form. So the comparative form of tall is taller. There are of course some exceptions to this rule, but generally most adjectives that have one syllable change in this way. And when we say Daniel is taller than John, it means that Daniel is more tall compared to John. Here are a few other example sentences. Daniel is slimmer than John. John is shorter than Daniel. John is bigger than Daniel. So the comparative form of slim is slimmer, for short it's shorter, and for big it's bigger. And as you can see, with slimmer and bigger, with some adjectives, we add one extra consonant of the final consonant and then add er. And this happens when the adjective ends in a vowel plus consonant combination. So fat is fatter and fit is fitter. There are also other exceptions. For example, if an adjective ends in e, we just add r. So nice is nicer. Another exception is when an adjective ends in y. With these adjectives, we remove the y and then add ier. So happy becomes happier and hungry becomes hungrier. And this last rule applies even if the adjective has two or more syllables. Okay, so let's now do a speaking practice of these sentences. Daniel is taller than John. Daniel is slimmer than John. John is shorter than Daniel. John is bigger than Daniel. That was great, well done. In this dialogue, person A then said, "Really?" to show surprise at what the other person said. And then after that, person B said this. "Yes, and he looks more mature than before." Yes, and he looks more mature than before. Now, we're going to focus on this part, so let's remove the first part. In this sentence, we first have the verb look. The verb look can be used to talk about the subject doing the action of looking. And when we use look in this way, we can use the preposition at to say what the subject is looking at. However, we can also use the verb look to talk about how someone or something appears, how they look. When look is used in this way, it's followed by an adjective. And in this sentence, after looks, we use a comparative structure. But instead of comparing he, Daniel, to another person, we're comparing Daniel to how he looked before. In this sentence, we're comparing how Daniel is more mature than before. Mature means to behave and act more like an adult. And generally, when an adjective has two or more syllables, such as mature, we use the word more in front of the adjective to form a comparative form. Though as we have seen with the adjectives ending in y, there are also exceptions. Here are a few more example sentences. He looks more stylish than before. He looks more beautiful than before. He looks more handsome than before. Each of these adjectives have 2 or more syllables, so we add the word more in front of the adjective to make a comparative form. Let's now do a speaking practice of these sentences. He looks more mature than before. He looks more stylish than before. She looks more beautiful than before. He looks more handsome than before. Excellent job, well done. Let's listen to the dialogue again. What does Daniel look like? Daniel is taller than John. Really? Yes, and he looks more mature than before. Okay, so let's now do a speaking practice of this dialogue. As always, we will do 2 speaking practices, and all the lines will be on the screen, so when it's your turn, please read the line and participate in the dialogue. Let's begin. What does Daniel look like? Really? Daniel is taller than John. Yes, and he looks more mature than before. Fantastic effort today, well done. Okay, so in this lesson, we learned how to describe people's appearances by forming comparative structures. The next lesson is the speaking drill lesson, and I will see you soon again in the lesson after that. Bye bye.